Hey guys, and welcome to YASCast podcast. It's your girl, Yas, your favorite host, and I'm here today with an amazing guest. We're coming to bring you faith, funding, and freedom. Today's guest, guys, we're going to teach you and show you how to get to the bag, how to get to the capital. We have a guest here, funding broker, the one and only Mr. Tony Rogers. Tony is a business owner. He is a funding coach and broker, as well as a real estate investor himself. He is the owner of Spice House Restaurant here in Atlanta in Duluth. And today we're going to talk about the access to funding, the funding access that it takes for you to have success, and how to increase that wisdom and multiplication, because that's very important when getting access to capital. We have to learn how to use OPM and multiply the money. So, Mr. Tony Rogers, when it comes to funding and financial strategy, wisdom is everything. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, of course.
I can certainly agree with that statement, because if you don't have wisdom and you won the lottery today, we all know what would probably happen, right?
Right.
Absolutely. So what I have found that wisdom means everything. So when it comes to funding, I thought of this scripture when I was planning out this segment to meet with you today, and I thought of the book of James, okay? James 1:5. It tells us that if we lack wisdom, we should ask God, because he gives it generously. Okay, wouldn't you say that? So today we're going to talk about the wisdom behind the money moves. Okay, because that is so important. Myself, as a successful entrepreneur, getting access to capital, getting it, losing it, starting over, back again, lacking that wisdom. I want to definitely share with our audience today, how important it is to have that wisdom if you want to move the money or you want to find yourself elevating. So with that being said, Tony, let's talk about how to multiply, or how you've multiplied, I guess I should say, what God has put into your hands. Before you answer that question, though, tell everybody who you are, introduce yourself, and tell us who you are.
My name's Tony Rogers. I've been in Atlanta for 20 some odd years by way of New York, but I'm from Clarksville. I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee, and I humbly come to you, and I'm excited about being on the YASCast.
And we're excited to have you here with us. So again, Tony, you said you are the owner of a very popular restaurant here in the Atlanta metro area called Spice House Duluth, right? And I know it must not have been easy to open up, a restaurant. I've been there many times, had a few events there. You've got a pretty sizable operation going on over there. Can you just give us a little bit about, how did you get there? Like, how did you get to become, a restaurant owner?
Right. So I've been in the mortgage industry for, without telling my age, 20 some odd years. And I was looking, I hate being out of control. I like to be in control of my situation. And I was looking for an alternative investment. I had a buddy that had not a franchise, but he had a namesake, Spice House. And he happened to get one not far from my house. It was an opportunity, and he pitched it to me, and I thought it was, a good alternative investment.
So you had already had, obviously, some investment, skills under your belt. Let's talk about that here.
Sure.
You're on the YASCast podcast, where we talk about, faith, funding, and freedom. So let's talk about before the restaurant, as an investor and as a mortgage broker.
Right. So I did my first flip in '96, I partnered on a flip. And ever since there, I've kind of been putting myself in the position. I enjoyed the process. I've been putting myself in the position for flips. So since then, I've been involved in hundreds of flips, the wholesale process, the retail process, as a loan officer, investor myself. So I'm astute in that area, and I've always worked to be able to be an investor of some sort.
So when you say you like to be in control of your situations and things like that, was that because of some things that you went through throughout that process, that you were not able to control? How did you gain that wisdom, to be able to have a restaurant, flip 100 properties, etc.?
Well, what happens is when you're in the field that I'm in, the real estate, the brokerage, the mortgage financing field, a lot of times, unfortunately, the market is controlled by the rates. So, and I hate it being like, if the rates are low, people are buying. If the rates are high, people aren't buying. Unfortunately, when the rates are historically low, it's always a catastrophe or something going on in the world. When the rates are high, supposedly the market is doing well. But the general public doesn't understand that. They just want lower rates, but they don't understand that there has to be a buy. There has to be a make sense break point. And in the history, it's been about 5 to 6%. So,
so there's never really a perfect time, you say, in
Right.
the real estate industry. I would say it's always the right time, right?
correct.
So what was a moment that faith became your strategy, in business, going through all of those real estate flips, being a broker, dealing with the chaos in the industry with rates flip-flopping up and down, and then opening a restaurant just 1 year ago? Let's talk about that. How has faith played a role for you to still be able to accomplish that with so much that has been going on, like you said?
Right. So, typically in the Bible scriptures, it talks about you taking one step and God will take two for you. So regardless of the time, the nature of trying to time the market, so on and so forth, I just get up every day and I got a system and a plan, and I just follow that plan, whether it's good or bad, whether the results are good or bad. I know that the system is set up for success, and I just follow that system. And if you stick to your system, eventually it'll carry you through whatever shortcomings or whatever the market is doing or whatever you're going through, negative situation, whatever negative.
I would say analyze the deal. If the numbers make sense, okay, roll with it. We don't let the distractions of the world,
The noise,
the noise, stop us from building our wealth. So when did you realize that you were called, for something higher? You were called to this. You said you came here from Tennessee by way of New York. When were you, or when did you know, I guess I should say, that you were called to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, a funding broker, to be able to help other people, reach their home ownership dreams and goals?
Right. I mean, I always knew I was destined for something good or great. That's just a feeling I always had. In New York, I had aspirations of playing professional basketball and had put myself in the position to play. But being a little hard-headed, I ended up messing up my knee. I got my degree from CCNY in Harlem. So then I followed my second aspiration, which was to be an investment banker. I had an opportunity with that. It was taking a long time for it to come through.
Yeah.
And I just made a decision. I was in New York in the 80s and 90s, and there was a lot of things going on. I just made a decision to come back to Atlanta. Atlanta was a city that was about to boom. The Olympics was here, so on and so forth. So I made a decision to come here, and it was a pretty good decision for me.
And you would say you stood on faith in that moment to do that, right?
Exactly. And a guy named, I started working at Fleet Finance, and a guy, well, I don't really want to say his name without his permission, but a guy approached me and said, hey, you'd be a great loan officer. And that happened in 96, and I've been in the business since, ever
Are
since.
you serious?
Yeah, he approached me, yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like God used him. He used him to put that in your spirit, and here you are
Exactly.
today, still actually
The same thing.
doing loans.
Yeah.
So it would be safe to say that you found your lane, right?
Right, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
amazing, amazing. So let's dive in a little bit deeper about funding, because myself, and I know people watching it in the audience, everybody needs access to capital. Everybody wants to know how to get business funding, or to get approved for a mortgage loan and things like that. So I want to talk about some of the biggest funding myths. Like, a lot of times people have fear and they just go with what they heard and not what they know. Can we just debunk some of the biggest funding myths that we have?
Sure. I mean, most people just don't think they have access to it.
It's not for them.
It's not for them.
I
Exactly.
can't get that.
That's
It's for
the
them
biggest.
over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's 100% not correct.
Not having that belief,
Exactly.
or even understanding that they're worthy or they deserve it.
Exactly.
And
a
they
lot
count themselves out before they even give it a shot.
a lot of these misconceptions start in childhood, depending on how you were raised, where you were raised, and the thought process of your older brothers and sisters or your parents. If you were not introduced to it at a certain point, that's what you carry through your young adulthood and your adulthood, those misconceptions.
So, what are some steps that people can take to get approved?
The main thing is educating yourself to the process. Education. There's so many different avenues and things available. You got social media. You got people that are giving free classes. You got YouTube. They're giving free classes. You got Google. You can go in Google and put in you can ask it anything you want to ask it, and it'll give you an answer. Chat GPT is set up for you to ask the correct question.
Yeah.
All you have to know is how to ask the correct question.
Yeah.
And all of these resources are available, but a lot of us never take the time to delve into them.
So, what is the sweet spot or a base credit score or credit standing? A lot of people feel like, oh, I don't have credit, I'm not fundable. Is that true? If you don't have credit, you're not fundable. Is that true?
No, not. If you don't have credit, it's a possibility. You can build your credit. You can build it through rent payments. You can build it from a sibling or a parent putting you on their credit card as an authorized user.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of different ways you can build credit.
And then what are some, stewardship or some principles that people need to learn, or some disciplines and take so that they can obtain credit?
Well, the main thing is there's a saying that says the mark of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You have to change your mindset.
Yeah.
If you don't change your mindset, nothing positive is going to come out of it anyway. You gotta understand your want versus needs. You gotta understand putting together a budget for you, not for what Jazz's situation is totally different from Tony's situation. So that's the main thing. Understanding that you got to change your mindset.
So you would say first it starts with that mindset shift. There's something.
Correct.
Yeah, and that is so true. That is so true, because you have to first decide and make up your mind that you're going to do this and that you're worthy and that you want it. So the first thing would be, like you said, getting a budget.
Yeah.
Paying your bills on time.
Correct.
Things like that. And then how many trade lines does someone have to have as a minimum, to be able to get access to capital?
Well, it actually just depends on the nature of the trade line. if you're piggybacking or you're getting an authorized user from a sibling or somebody, you want at least one or two. Then you can have your rental, which would be considered organic credit, added. That's your third one. And then, you know, if you get a car, so on and so forth. But
So
typically
three in
trade
total.
lines. Yeah,
So
typically
three
trade
total trade lines
Uh-huh.
to be fundable or to access capital, of which one must be your own. It
Yeah, you
can't be
wanna
an
have-
authorized user.
correct.
So you can get funding with two trade lines and only one account that's truly your own.
Correct.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay. So what is the best credit or capital strategy, you know, that you could tell our audience today? Give us one strategy that people miss, you know, that can help them.
Pay your bills on time. Pay your bills on time. I mean, we try to make it in the rocket scientist. It's not.
And it's not.
It's not
But you
really.
know, that's crazy you say that, because for a long time I was the same way. I used to think that it was rocket science too. And it's really not. It's like you said, pay your bills on time, maintain a budget, and don't overspend.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're trying to build a relationship here, guys, with a bank, and we want them to lend us, you know, $250,000, $250,000. So ask yourself, you know, based on your situation and the way you operate and the way you're doing things right now, would a bank fund you? You know, would a bank loan you $250,000? You know, and if the answer is no, then it's time to start shifting your mind and start being, you know, the adults that we are, and getting that wisdom and learn from your previous financial mistakes, right?
Yes.
You know, because that's certainly what I had to do. You know, I had to get it and lose it a few times, ball out a few times to finally understand and learn and start having a little bit more respect for those dollars.
Exactly.
Wouldn't you say?
It's called being a good steward.
Exactly.
called being a good
Exactly. Stewardship. Exactly. And principles to the money, guys.
Yep.
The money likes to multiply. The money wants to have babies, and it can't do that if you're not investing it. Okay? So, let me ask you this. Can you tell me a time in business, a lesson that you had to learn the hard way?
Wow. I've learned so many lessons.
I can imagine with a
over
restaurant.
Nah, it's just.
It seems so hectic.
Just really, whatever situation you're going into, having a mentor and also vetting your situation. A lot of times in business, and not only in business, but in life in general, we think our idea is the best idea, but it's not. Whatever you do in business, in giving advice, in your relationship with your wife or your husband, give it a second thought. Because your idea ain't always the best.
Yeah.
You're not Confucius. You're not
Yeah.
this superhuman computer where your decision making and thought process is always right. It's not.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah, you got to think about
That's
it. Yeah.
a really good lesson, and I hope you guys didn't miss that, okay? What he said was, that stuck out to me, the most important part of that statement was a mentor, okay? When you are excelling or growing in business to become, you know, this icon of your great self, it is so important to have a mentor or coach or a leader, someone there, you know, that's already been there before you on that journey, and not to just only go with, like you said, your own thinking.
Right.
You know, that is really, really good, because, you know, a lot of people struggle with that. You know, they think they know everything, they have their vision, and they want it the way they want it, and they want it right now. They don't really see the value in having a coach, okay, or a mentor. And I'm telling you guys how important that is, because a coach and a mentor can take you places otherwise where you cannot take yourself.
Correct.
You know, so that's a very, very important gem. I like that one. And then, what's a money rule that you live by, that you had to learn and that you absolutely live by?
Want versus needs.
Oh.
You see a lot of things that you want.
Yeah, but do
it's
you
just,
really need it?
Right. It's just want versus needs. And that's the biggest factor that a lot of us struggle with, the want versus needs.
That's really good. I like that. So I'm going to give you 3 words. I want you to fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Freedom equals what to you?
Entrepreneurship.
Definitely. Definitely equals entrepreneurship. And faith equals?
The road I'm on now.
And what about wealth? What does wealth truly mean or equal to you?
Access and opportunity.
Elaborate on that for me.
Well, without access or opportunity, you can't even see wealth. And that's what real estate and investing and the stock market and these accessible things give us.
Give us a chance.
Give us a chance.
A fair shot.
Yeah. Real estate outside of the stock market is probably the number 1 investment vehicle that's accessible to us. You can go, you can see, feel, and touch your investment. So.
And the returns are amazing on real estate.
Yeah.
Okay, you get yourself in the right deal, the right numbers, the returns are amazing. I made my first 5-figure check from a real estate deal.
From a real estate deal.
Yeah. Okay, it was more than my annual salary at the last job I had. So that's how powerful real estate is and can be. For those of you who are listening today, I want to encourage you to certainly seek a real estate mentor and coach, a good one, a reputable one. Make sure you get some, what do they call it? Testimonies or reviews or referrals, on your coach that you get. But certainly make sure you obtain a real estate coach. So what's one key? This is the closing segment. In our closing segment, we like to always give what we call a kingdom key or a kingdom call. What is one key that you want to leave with our audience today, to help them get on their road to success, whether they have desire to get into the hospitality restaurant industry, investor, or even access to capital? What is something you want to leave them with today? What's a good key?
Well, I'm going to leave you with a life key. A life key. Be your biggest critic and your own biggest fan. God has already given you everything you need. You just got to access it.
It's within.
Yeah.
Definitely. You got to dig deep.
Yeah.
It's in you. It's
right.
in there, but you got to dig deep, deep down inside to go and get it, guys.
Yeah.
So tell our audience where they can find you if they're looking for visit business capital or mortgage. What type of funding or capital do you offer? And let us know where they can find you at.
I offer, retail funding, commercial funding, wholesale funding. There's not any funding mechanism that I don't have access to, or if I don't, I can point you in the right direction. You can find me at www.legacymutual.com/Tony Rogers. You can email me at tony.rogers@legacymutual.com. Come by the Spice House Duluth. Your first drink is on me.
Amazing restaurant, by the way. It is an amazing restaurant. So, guys, that's going to wrap it up today with our guest, Mr. Tony Rogers. He is a funding guru. Again, if you are looking to purchase a home, if you're looking for business capital, if you're looking for real estate investment funding, please do reach out to Mr. Tony Rogers. It was such a pleasure talking to you here today. And remember, guys, just how important wisdom is when it comes to that capital. Wisdom is everything. Again, the scripture for today's show is James 1:5, and it tells us if we lack wisdom, we should ask God because He gives it generously, okay? And when He gives it to you, you want to absolutely, guys, have a plan on how to multiply it. So again, thank you so much for tuning in to YASCast podcast. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button, share, and follow. See you on the next show.